Auzubillahi minashaitanirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear friends, welcome to Idea Foundation Forum. For friends who are joining first time, a very brief background will be useful. Idea Foundation works for promotion of the Islamic society through Quranic research with modern scientific perspective. IDEA stands for Islamic Developmental Education for Advancement. In fact, it is a movement for peace, prosperity, and freedom through Quranic principles. In the first two introductory programs, we discussed objectives of IDEA Foundation and its Quranic research framework. As it was mentioned in the introductory programs, the Quranic research has been divided in about 40 areas, which have been further subdivided into research topics. So far, over 700 research topics are available on our website. This number will keep on increasing with the passage of time. We will, inshallah, present video programs on these topics one by one. At the first stage, I personally will present these idea topics. The objective is to present the objectives and introduce the subjects in the light of Quranic references and other related information. Later on, at the second stage, these topics will be discussed in the panels of scholars, keeping in view their expertise in the related discipline and area. We have started first serial programs on Quranic research. The name of this program is Allah, Quran and Insan. In English, Insan means human being, man and woman, of course. The first part of area of this serial program is the man's creation and its purpose. Under this area of research, there are 24 research topics. The first topic that we discussed last time was the stages of man's creation. These programs have been presented in Urdu as well as in English. Their videos can be seen at the IDEA Foundation website, its YouTube channel and Facebook, as well as written versions of these programs in Urdu and English both have been placed on the IDEA Foundation website. Please do visit these sites to build a permanent partnership with the Foundation for a noble cause. Sharing of views is our real strength. Dear friends, today we will discuss the purpose of the man's creation. In the last program, we saw that the man's creation was accomplished in 3 stages. First was the pre-corporal stage, when the creation of the man was just a concept. Allah told His intention to the angels. The second was the corporal stage, when a body of the man was materialized. Third was the stage when human body was blessed with the soul. Now friends, focus on these stages one by one, because at every stage the purpose of the man's creation evolved. New dimensions were given at each stage, new responsibilities were added, the man was blessed with new faculties. He was awarded with greater honors at every stage. In the first stage, Allah envisioned a personality of the man. He told the angels and jinns that He was going to appoint the man His vicegerent on the earth. Surah Baqarah tells it, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَائِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. Let me present the translation. When your Lord said to the angels, indeed, I will make upon the earth a successive authority as the vicegerent. Let us think, what is vicegerency? In simple words, vicegerency is a process of assignment. where one superior authority assigns some of his powers, some of his responsibilities or tasks to some subordinate person or persons. In our context, the assigner is Almighty Allah, who chose man as his assignee or the vicegerent. What was the assignment? As vicegerent, the man was assigned to submit to the will of Allah by accepting his role as dutiful assignee or the vicegerent. The man is supposed to imitate Allah in his engagements to the extent of this earth because he was appointed vicegerent on the earth. What Allah does? Let us study ayat 24 of Surah Al-Hashr. Huwallahul khaliqul bariul musawwir lahul asma'ul husna yusabbihu lahu ma fis samawati wal ars wa huwal azizul hakim. He is Allah, the creator. Please note the words. Creator, the inventor, the fashioner. To him belong the best names. He is worthy of all the attributes. Whatever is in the heavens and earth is exalting him, admiring him, speaking his name, and he is the exalted in might, the wise. So let's repeat a small sentence of this ayat. Quran says, Huwallahul khaliqul bariul musawwir. Allah is the creator, the inventor, and the designer of the universe. Gentlemen, God creates, God invents, and God designs the shape and gives the beautification to His universe. And gentlemen, how big is the universe and what it tells about its creator? Surah Al-Kahf reveals this mystery in the words. Please give a thought on it. قُلْ لَوْ كَانَ الْبَحْرُ مِدَادًا لِكَلِمَاتِ رَبِّي لَنَفِدَ الْبَحْرُ قَبْلَ أَن تَنْفَدَ كَلِمَاتُ رَبِّي وَلَوْ جِئْنَا بِمِثْلِهِ مَدَدًا. Let us see its translation. Say, if the sea was ink, just imagine, if the sea was ink for writing the words of my Lord, the sea would be exhausted before the words of my Lord were exhausted, even if we brought the like of it as a supplement. It means even seas of ink, oceans of ink are inadequate to put Allah's attributes and His affairs into writing. Now just imagine the size, the expanse of this universe created by Allah, the Almighty. Just think on the enormity of the universe. None of the creatures can dare to challenge His authority or His command and control system. No pharaoh of this earth can dare to deny the facts of his creation of the limitless universe. Pharaohs of the earth must remain conscious of their littleness when the planet where they live itself is not bigger than a grain of sand on the seashore. Grandeur of the universe and majesty of its creator are acknowledged by every wise creature. The Quran represents their feelings in the beautiful words, Lahul asma'ul husna, yusabbihu lahu ma fis samawati wal ars. To him belong the best names. All the praises, all the admirations, all the attributes belong to him. That's why every creature in the universe acknowledges his pervasive and final authority and surrenders to his will as a mark of recognition and obedience. As Allah is beyond human comprehension, so are His attributes. Allah is the creator, He is the designer, He is the sustainer. Everything that He has created reveals great creativity and mastery of His perfection. The man was created in the Ahsani Taqweem, in the finest mode. No list of attributes can be comprehensive to describe Allah. However, Allah is the name that covers infinity of His attributes. Every great thing is covered under this name. So, as a true vicegerent, the man was assigned to emulate, to imitate His attributes. Allah is the creator. Allah is the creator of the man. So the man is assigned to procreate his posterity. You understand? Allah is the creator and you are the procreator of your posterity. Allah is the designer, innovative, and adds glory to His creation every day. Yas'aluhu man fis samawati wal ars kulla yawmin huwa fi shan. Let me repeat. Kulla yawmin huwa fi shan. So the man needs to be innovative, perpetually progressive, doing every possible thing for the well-being of the humanity, because he is vicegerent of the great creator, innovator, and designer. So we must imitate him. That's the requirement of vicegerency. Dear friends, in the light of discussion made so far, in the context of pre-corporal stage, the purpose of the man's creation can be summarized in a few words as: the man should submit to the will of Allah in all the affairs of his life and needs to be perpetually progressive for doing every possible thing for the well-being of the humanity. To accomplish this task well, the man was given a creation in the best mold, fi ahsani taqweem. He was honored with free personality and he was blessed with cognitive and creative knowledge to make the worldly life progressive and comfortable for the humanity, so that by his obedience of Allah and good deeds for the humanity, the man could earn the reward of the hereafter. So our target, we are to live in this world very, very lively, energetically, and proactively. But our focus is the life hereafter, after the day of judgment. Dear friends, now at the second stage of creation, when a physical body of the man had been created and the angels were asked to prostrate, what happened? There was a dialogue between Allah, the angels, and Iblis. Let us study the Quran. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها ويسفك الدماء ونحن نسبح بحمدك ونقدس لك قال إني أعلم ما لا تعلمون وإذ قال ربك للملائكة. Allah said to the angels, Inni ja'ilun, I am going to appoint fil arzi, in the domain of this earth, Khalifa, my vicegerent. Kalu ataj'alu fiha man yufsidu fiha wa yasfiku dima. God, Allah, you are going to appoint a man as your vicegerent who will cause disorder and who will shed blood in the world. وَنَحْنُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ. Whereas we, your servant, we excel in your worship, we admire, we always praise your blessings and your greatness. وَنَحْنُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ قَالَ إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. What Allah said? Allah said, no. Whatsoever I know, you don't know. It means Allah rejected their assertions. Now, when Allah asked from the Iblis, why don't you prostrate? He replied, Kala ana khairum minhu. I am better than the man. Khalaqtani min nar. I am made of fire. Wa khalaqtahu min teen. The man whom you asked us to prostrate, he is made of mud, black mud. So, some important points emerge from this dialogue. Angel said that the man will cause disorder and shed blood on the earth. This was the first objection. Angels also claimed that they excel in worship. They were proud of their worship. Iblis, but they were respectful. Angels were respectful, but Iblis was arrogant. Iblis arrogantly claimed his superiority on account of physical matter, fire versus clay. Allah disproved and set aside assertions of the angels and Iblis, saying, I know what you don't know. Kala inni alamu ma la ta'lamun. So Allah rejected veracity of the observations made by the angels and the claims made by Iblis. Here Allah replied, unfolded 4 important points which reflects Allah's will as well. What were those? First was, the man would not shed blood or cause disorder on the earth. Rather, he will establish peace, order, and will beautify the earth with the knowledge he was being given, so that humanity could live a peaceful and happy life. What was the second? The man will be equally good in worship. There will be good mix of faith and good deeds. Third, knowledge. Please note, knowledge was considered the man's distinction over other creatures. Fourth, sovereignty lies with Allah. Fire or clay, nothing matters. The Quran explains this point very beautifully. Let's see. Kulillahumma malikul mulk. Say, O Muhammad, Allah, only you own the sovereignty. Tu'til mulka man tasha wa tanzi'ul mulka mimman tasha. You give sovereignty to whom you will, and you take sovereignty away from whom you will. وَتُعِزُّ مَن تَشَاءُ وَتُذِلُّ مَن تَشَاءُ. You honor whom you will, and you humble down whom you don't like, you don't will. بِيَدِكَ الْخَيْرُ. All the good lies with you. The treasures of goodness are with Allah. إِنَّكَ عَلَىٰ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Allah is, in control of everything. He is competent. All pervasive competence lies with Allah. Now let us see how Allah proves the man's superiority over the angels and the jinns. Allah made knowledge as the criterion of superiority. I must repeat it again. Allah made knowledge as the criterion of superiority. Let us study the dialogue between Allah, angel, and Iblis. Look at the table. وَأَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا ثُمَّ أَرَزَهُمْ عَلَى الْمَلَائِكَةِ. And he taught Adam the names of all of them. Then he showed them to the angels as well and said, فَقَالَ أَنْبِئُونِي بِأَسْمَاءِ هَؤُلَاءِ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. Then he showed them to the angels as well and asked, inform me of these names if you are truthful. You know what was the reply? Listen. قَالُوا سُبْحَانَكَ لَا عِلْمَ لَنَا إِلَّا مَا عَلَّمْتَنَا. They said, exalted are you. We have no knowledge illa ma allamtana, except what you have taught us, a limited knowledge. Innaka antal alimul hakim, indeed it is you who is the knowing, the wise. Then Allah addressed the man and asked, Kala ya Adamu ambihum bi asma'ihim. He said, O Adam, inform them of their names. Falamma amba'ahum bi asma'ihim. And when he had informed them of their names, Kala alam akul lakum inni alamu ghaibas samawati wal arzi wa alamu ma tubduna wa ma kuntum taktumun. Allah said, did I not tell you that I know the unseen of the heavens and the earth, and I know what you reveal and what you have concealed. So Allah determined knowledge as the criterion of superiority. I am repeating this point time and again so that Muslims and men at large must be conscious of this great gift of God, and that is the knowledge. Now Allah asked Iblis why he didn't prostrate. Allah said, فَسَجَدَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ كُلُّهُمْ أَجْمَعُونَ. When all the angels prostrated, all of them entirely, إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ اسْتَكْبَرَ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ, except Iblis, he was arrogant and became among the disbeliever. What was the reply of Iblis? He said, قَالَ أَنَا خَيْرٌ مِّنْهُ خَلَقْتَنِي مِنْ نَارٍ وَخَلَقْتَهُ مِنْ تِينٍ. He said, I am better than him. You created me from fire and created him from clay. So this was his pride, this was his arrogance. So Iblis was demeaned and declared disbeliever. Why? He was declared disbeliever because he did not submit to the will of Allah. He was proud, arrogant, and rebellious against the decision of Allah. So the submission to the will of Allah and knowledge were two considered determining factors of superiority. Remember, submission to the will of Allah and knowledge are the two special distinctive gifts of God to man. Dear friends, now we come to the third stage. The man is given another dimension of creation, which is named Khalkan Akhara. In ayat 14 of Surah Al-Mu'minun, Summa Ansha'anahu Khalkan Akhara. The man was imbued with Allah's Amr, his directing force, his own created spirit, a guiding soul. It was the distinctive honor to the man. Allah calls it his own affair. This is Amr Rabbi, which has been revealed in Surah Al-Isra, Kulir Ruhu min Amri Rabbi. So, 3 points are important here. First, this divine spirit is a reproaching self. It is conscience of the man that reproaches him when he commits evil. It holds criteria of justice and balance for the man. With this, the man was blessed with the free personality. You know what is free personality? He was given the right to choose right from wrong or wrong from right. Second, one who listens to his or her reproaching soul, one who pursues submission to the Allah's will and chooses good, justice and balance, pleases his or her divine spirit and gets success. Understand? Surah Ash-Shams says, Qad aflaha man zakkaha wa qad khaba man dassaha. He has succeeded who purifies his soul, and he fails who corrupts his soul. Third is, Spirit is a mystic treasure endowed by Allah to the man. It is Amre Rabbi. It is transfusion of Allah's soul in the man. It is the password to the divine knowledge. You understand? There is always a password of some software. If you want to achieve the software of divinity, this is the password. It's a window open towards the divinity. It is a mean to communicate with Allah. Surah Fussilat says, Sanurihim ayatina fil afaki wa fi anfusihim. Please remember two words. Fil afaki wa fi anfusihim. Afaki, the universe. Wa fi anfusihim, your own self. Hatta yatabayyana lahum annahul haqq. We will show them our signs in the horizons, in the universe, and within themselves, until it becomes clear to them that it is the truth. So we should seek guidance through the divine spirit we have been given by God. We should find the ways of truth, justice, and good through it. We should find Allah and secrets of life by endeavoring for its closer companionship. The more we will know Allah, the greater depth we will find in our faith and submission. So, dear friends, we discussed proceedings of the man's creation in 3 stages. We tried to identify the role that the man was being given: knowledge, divine spirit, and free personality. Let me repeat: knowledge, divine spirit, and free personality were the 3 exclusive honors that Allah gave to the man to give him distinction over other creatures and to accord him the status of vicegerent on the earth. If we revisit the details of the proceedings of the 3 stages, the purpose of the man's creation may be evolved in the form of 4 objectives. These objectives can be described in 4 very brief statements. Listen. Number 1, to ensure complete submission to Allah's will. This is one objective. To ensure complete submission to Allah's will. Number 2, to remain engaged for the growth of material and intellectual resources in line with the laws of nature. Number 3 is to endeavor for well-being of the humanity. Number 4 is to establish peace and order in the society, employing Quranic principles of justice and common good for the prosperity and freedom of the individuals and of the community as well. So, dear friends, by putting together these 4 objectives, the purpose of man's creation may be briefly phrased as, let's try, to establish a just, peaceful, and perpetually growing society, enduring complete submission to Allah's will and well-being of the humanity. Let me repeat it. Please remember, it's a very small sentence, but you know this is foundation for the purpose of our life. To establish a just, peaceful, and perpetually growing society, ensuring complete submission to Allah's will and well-being of the humanity. Idea Foundation's mission for the pursuit of justice, peace, prosperity, and freedom for the mankind emerges from this purpose of man's creation. Every Muslim, especially my young friends, must feel proud that the Quran has revealed such a glorious purpose of man's creation. This purpose is not for the Muslims only. It is for the humanity. It is for the whole mankind. This was for the past, this is for the present, this is for the future. This is for the whole posterity of Hazrat Adam. They may be white or black, Muslims or non-Muslims. My Muslim brothers must follow this purpose sincerely. They must know well-being of humanity lies in unity, justice, peace, and good for all. Likewise, my non-Muslim brothers must know that submission to Allah's will and well-being of the humanity is the philosophy of Islam. Islam is not for terrorism. Islam is not for bloodshed. Islam is not for chaos. It is for peace. It is for love. It has been the legacy of Hazrat Adam, Ibrahim, Moses, Christ, and Hazrat Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It has been the core of their message, code of their lives. Let us join hands for justice, peace, and welfare of humanity by pursuing this purpose of man's life. The Quran in Surah Al-Asr concludes the purpose of the man's creation most comprehensively in a few words. What are those? By time, indeed mankind is in loss, except for those who have believed, did righteous deeds, advised each other to the truth, and advised each other to patience. Ladies and gentlemen, let us close our discussion today with the recitation of the same Surah Al-Asr. وَالْأَسْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. This program is also recorded in Urdu. Both English and Urdu videos can be watched on ideafoundation.com.pk web or its YouTube channel and Facebook. Their written versions, written copies are also available on the Idea Foundation's website. Some people like to read instead of listen, so it is for their convenience. Please note code number of this program Idea 1A R2 for easy search. All friends are requested to subscribe the Foundation's YouTube web channel. It will be your great help to the noble cause. So, thank you very much, friends, for your participation and attention.